So you decided that you want to homeschool your child, but you have a full-time or part-time job. How do you do it? In this video, I am going to provide 3 tips on how to homeschool while still working either full-time or part-time. My name is Coral, and I'm here to relate with you on common homeschool mom life and to help you through the journey of creating the best education for your child. Tip number 1, you're going to need some help. So if you are literally working 40 hours a week, even if it's less than 40 hours, but you still are putting a lot of hours into your work, there's a really good chance that somebody is watching your child. And so if that's the case, that would probably be my go-to person for you on who to help you with homeschooling your child. Now, I'm not saying that they have to do everything. I think the situation is so different for every single person on who is helping you and how much time you even have to dedicate to homeschooling your child. So exactly how much they're going to help you and how long they're going to help you is going to be different for every single person. But I do think that having that person who is watching your child, or having another family member or your spouse, maybe who is working, slightly different shift than you, having another person involved in the homeschooling journey is really going to be helpful. So for me, it's actually a family affair in the homeschooling process. So my mother-in-law is helping watch my kids mostly in the morning while I work. And during that time, she is helping them with their computer work that they're doing, and also some book work activities, some handwriting, some tracing, some cutting and pasting activities for my 3-year-old. And so it's definitely helpful for her to have some say and some help in the process. So again, with my mother-in-law, she initially really had no desire to help with it. She didn't think she would be able to do it. Just like all of us, when we're first thinking about whether or not we can homeschool, probably all of us think, am I really able to do this? At least that was me. And so my mother-in-law felt the exact same way. She didn't actually think that she would be able to do it. But as I just gave her a little bit and said, hey, just focus on making sure their computer work gets done, or just focus on, just this little piece to do, this will really help me out. The next thing I know, she's coming to me and saying, hey, I think that we should add some handwriting in for my 5-year-old. Or, hey, your daughter, or, my 2-year-old, could really use some work to do as well. She sees her big brother doing school, so maybe she could do something. And so then she ended up buying the toddler workbook for her. I didn't even buy it. She was excited and ended up wanting to get started with her too. So it worked out really well for us. I still do a lot of the instruction on my end, but having her as a support is really helpful, because there are times that I just cannot do, as much homeschool. My husband is also involved, and recently my parents want to be involved as well. And both of them are going to be involved in the science component of the homeschool. Tip number 2, I already kind of referenced it in tip number 1, but utilize some technology resources. So for us, we are using an early childhood Waterford program for my son. In addition to, both kids are using Khan Academy Kids. So far out of the 2, I am highly preferring Khan Academy Kids. It is a totally free app that you can download onto your iPad, onto your Kindle, I believe too. We use an iPad. It has a full language arts and math and reading program for 2 to 7 or 8-year-olds. It's very engaging. It's very fun for the kids. And so it's pretty manageable, especially for my mother-in-law, who was helping me, to say, okay, you're going to do your 15 or 20 minutes of Khan Academy Kids, and you're going to work on that. And I don't recommend a program, especially in early childhood education, where you just say, hey, just do the computer work and let everything do it for you. I don't think that it could be the only tool for reading and math instruction, but it's definitely a help. The kids find it interesting and engaging. And it's just a little bit more manageable to say, hey, you're going to do the 20 minutes of Khan Academy Kids, and know that some schooling is getting done. Tip number 3, recognize that you are going to sacrifice something, okay? We all know it anyway. If you're a working mom, you already know you can't do it all. Something is always going to, have to go, or you're going to have to give a little less of something. And I mean, the reality is this is everything in life. Even if you're a fully stay-at-home mom, there's going to be things that you're sacrificing. But if you are going to homeschool, that has to be a priority. That has to be a priority for your kids and their education. And so there are going to be times where you're not going to get all the laundry done that you might normally have gotten done because you are helping your child learn how to read and work through some of these fluency worksheets or whatever it is that you're focusing on with them. It's balance with everything, but I think just recognizing that you do need, to sacrifice something is important. For us too, my kids right now are not highly involved in activities. So since I am working and they're still young, my son is doing jujitsu about 1 day a week. Lots of other kids his age are already doing activities 2 and 3 times a week. And for us, that's just not the priority. For us, the priority is making sure he has a routine with his education. And later we can still think about how to add in activities, but that is just not something for us right now that's a priority. It's more important that he is being homeschooled and that his education comes first at this point in time. So I hope these 3 tips help you. And I just want to encourage you, if you are a working mom, that you can do it. Like I said, I do have help. We have routines in place to make it happen. I am blessed that I do work from home. Most of the time I have a home office. So sometimes it is during lunch hour that I am, helping my son with what he needs to do with that, I'm not necessarily utilizing outside help for. And so it's working for us. My husband also has Fridays off. And so, well, I say he has Fridays off. It's a lighter day at home. And so that's how he's going to be able to, be involved in the science component. My parents are excited to be involved as well. And they take, the kids every other weekend or so. And so they're going to be involved in some science activities and projects with them, on weekends. And so that's what's going to work for us. On the bright side, my kids are still very young. Being that they're almost 3 and almost into kindergarten right now, it's not like they need to spend, hours in school. So it's worth it to make it happen because this is the right decision for me, and I'm assuming it's the right decision for you. So make it happen, make those sacrifices, utilize outside help, and, integrate some technology to make your life a little bit easier.